conversation. You will be inspired with singing that will make your heart a little lighter. There's no time like this time. You can turn your thoughts higher to a place of peace where things are much calmer. Our time together bring you to your destiny. People all together in perfect harmony. The Loretta Merritt Show. The Loretta Merritt Show.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Loretta Merritt Show. Yes, I took off a couple of months for vacation. We all need to take some time out for ourselves and just enjoy ourselves. So again, welcome back to the Loretta Merritt Show, an inspirational music and conversation experience to encourage, uplift, inspire, inform, enlighten, and motivate through the power of singing and learning. I am your host, Loretta Merritt, and gospel artist. The show is held every third Sunday of the month, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, live on YouTube and Facebook. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, comment down in the comment area, and please do share. So just a little plug-in. My single, Never Once Let Me Down, just dropped this past Friday, and it is available on all digital platforms. So please go check it out, listen to it. It's a great song. It will bless you and you will be inspired. So thank you so much again for joining me. Today, I have a very special guest, and I know I've been advertising him a while. So now let me tell you a little bit about our guest that is joining us this evening. Dallas native Ricky Slikk Muzik Oxford is a two-time Grammy Award-winning powerhouse destined to dominate the music industry. His accolades range from pop records with artists such as Ariana Grande, to BET Award performance placements for Chris Brown, to his Grammy Gospel Album of the Year win with Tori Kelly. Slick's diversity does not stop there, but continues to shatter the glass ceilings into the video game industry with his production of EA Sports NBA Live theme music to over 100 million streams with Latin Grammy-nominated artist Sofia Reese. Slikk has proved that no matter the genre, he is up for the challenge and ready to win. With a triumph story of leaving corporate America on a leap of faith to sleeping in his car in Hollywood to pursue his dream, he is a true testament of what hard work and dedication can produce. His 2016 testimony of his traumatic brush with life and death when a simple day surgery turned into 5 cardiac arrests. Yes, you heard me right. 5 cardiac arrests and a 33-day coma is one that proves he is destined to defy all of the odds against him. Now, with 10 years of industry experience under his belt, he is continuously on the trail to set trends for his colleagues and produce timeless music for generations to come. He has so many different accomplishments. He's a 2 Grammy Awards, as I mentioned, 1 Golden Globe, 1 American Music Award, 4 Billboard Awards, 3 Grammy nominations, 1 Latin Grammy nomination, 1 Oscar nomination, 2 NAACP Image Award nominations, 1 Dove Award nomination, 12 Billboard #1 records, 5 platinum records, 5 gold records, and 1 billion plus streams. Everyone, please help me welcome 2 times Grammy Award winner, Slikk Muzik.
Hey, how's it going? How are you?
Hi, Slikk. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Wow, I'm so happy that you've taken the time because I know you have a busy schedule.
Yeah, it's busy, but you know what? It's never too busy to come on and share my experience and my testimony. So I'm thankful for being here. Thank you for having me.
God bless. Thank you so much. So we're going to jump right into it because we have a lot to conversate on this evening.
Indeed.
I want to start with you working in corporate America. And then you decide that, I'm going to leave and I'm going to step out on faith into your passion, which is music. Walk us through that. Tell us what that experience was like.
Well, I mean, coming from corporate America, to just stepping out on faith and completely just like trusting God and, leaving everything as I knew behind. It was definitely a challenge. It was something that I had kind of planned. Started planning out maybe about a year or 2 before I left.
Mm-hmm.
And I always knew that I wasn't, just built for, the corporate, just clock in 9 to 5 lifestyle. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying it just wasn't for me. So,
right.
I would say back around 2009, 2010, I started kind of like working on my exit plan.
Mm-hmm.
A couple years prior to, and then as of 2013, the top of 2013, that's when I made my exit. But it was a lot of preparation and stuff. But even with all the preparation, it's still nerve-wracking to just like, completely pack all your things and leave.
Right.
I'm from Dallas, Texas, leave Dallas and move to Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, but it was life-changing. So,
wow. That's something. But when you left corporate America to leave, to go to Los Angeles, what happened? Because you were homeless and you slept in your car. Right. Was that during that period?
Yeah. So what happened was, I didn't know anyone in Los Angeles, by the way, other than one guy by the name of iRock, and he's like a big brother mentor to me. He had a lot of experience in production in the industry. More in the 90s, he had produced some records like with Coolio and different people like that. So he had been around for a while, but he currently lives in Dallas and had been living in Dallas. So he was the one that encouraged me to, move out that way. He said, man, you're bigger than that. Like you're bigger than what the current situation you're in. You need to be exposed to, the record companies, the executives, they need to hear your music. So shout out to him, by the way. Shout out to iRock for that that push. But he was very instrumental, very key to the move as well. So I would say that I was staying with a relative of his for a period of time, for just a few months, and it was supposed to have been like, okay, after this period of time, you should have your. I said I was going to have everything in order and be able to get my own place, et cetera, et cetera. It didn't work like that.
So, yeah, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. So even though I had a lot of great things in motion, with meeting Babyface and working with some of his writers in the camp, and that'll lead up to how I got on the Ariana Grande project. Mm-hmm. But the thing was the timing of it. So even though I had produced this record with Ariana and Babyface and those guys, we had to wait about 6 to 8 months before that record even dropped. And then after that, you still got to wait to see what it's going to do. Right. So it's not like you can just automatically get a publishing deal or, go and get this money off this song. You don't know what's going to happen, right?
Right.
So in between that waiting period was when I just had to kind of tough it out and sleep in the car. And then, but what would happen is I would be in the studio so late. I would stay in the studio till like maybe 2 or 3 a.m. So that way I would go sleep for a couple of hours and be right back in there, like, not even maybe 11 o'clock, 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Mm-hmm. So I did that for a period of time, just up until I was able to, get my money back up. And Los Angeles is expensive. So, it really is. It really is. But it was worth it. everything. Of course, Ariana ended up going #1 across the whole Billboard, the whole country, the whole world, for like over 150 weeks or something crazy. Like we had
Wow.
that record, yeah, like for over 100 weeks. It was insane. So that completely changed everything.
It certainly did.
Yeah, so that's what it was. Just having that time period of having to wait to
Mhm.
see, because I knew I had that in the pipeline, but nobody talks about like, okay, how are you going to survive up until that point, and you don't know if the record is going to be successful or not. You just got to kind of wait to see what happens. But thank God
Right.
it worked out for my favor, and here we are. The rest was a snowball effect, and I kept working.
Amen. Amen to that. Wow, that's marvelous. Definitely stepping out on faith is something that I think we all should not think, but we all should
Yeah.
always do and keep in mind on that. I believe I know you mentioned about Ariana Grande, and you talked about, I believe your friends, someone got you connected in that way. Is that the first job you landed as a producer? I mean, how did you land your first job as a producer? Was it with Ariana Grande?
Actually, no, that was just my first. That was my first life changing
Okay.
placement that like changed my entire,
Okay.
everything to allow me to come off of my corporate America job. My first placement was landed. Let's see, I think I was in college. Yeah, I was in college, and it was with Montel Jordan. It's
Okay.
Montel Jordan, yeah. Shout out to Montel Jordan. He
Yeah.
actually cool us. Yeah, he's also a mentor of mine as well. So that's why I was just with out in Atlanta too. So shout out
Hmm.
to him. But a cooler story about that. I was in college playing college football, and I had a little studio set up in my dorm. So I always been a music guy. I always been making beats, and I'm a musician as well, drummer, keyboards, and
Right.
guitar. So he MySpace was out at the time. There was social media platform called MySpace, and that was right before Facebook got
Hmm.
popping, and and then Instagram. But so you could put your music on your MySpace page at the time,
Yep.
and I
Hmm.
had some tracks up there. I think I had put about 5 or 6 tracks on there. And Montel Jordan, I did not know him from anyone, from Adam. Like he didn't know me, but he randomly was browsing through MySpace, apparently one night, and ran across my page, and he heard my tracks, and he was so impressed that he inboxed me
Wow.
randomly, randomly, and he had me call him the next day, and we talked for about an hour, and he ended up flying me out to Atlanta. I say about maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, and that's how I started. We started working, started a brotherhood, friendship, and been locked in ever. This was 2004, 2005 at the time,
Mm.
and that
Mm.
was when I started working with him, and he kind of took me under his wing, and I say he kind of discovered me in a sense,
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was kind of like my first exposure to like working with someone and getting like a real placement. And we went on to work, and to this day, he's still my big brother and my mentor and a good friend of mine. So I say he was the first placement that I got.
Absolutely wonderful. Wow. Look at that. God places people in your lives, right? All you did was put music out on MySpace, and I do remember MySpace.
Right.
And he, randomly ran into it, saw
Yeah.
it, and called you and had flew you out.
Yeah.
Wow. So there's hope. Are they still doing that today? I don't know.
Hey, it's still. I will say, yeah, they actually are. And a matter of fact, it's probably a lot more going on because of,
Isn't
well,
it?
social media now. You
Yeah.
got TikTok, you got Instagram, but they got the reels now. You can go viral, and any and everybody can be a star. You just never know what's going to go viral. So
Yeah.
I think the social media platform has really become something that can be a tool, a positive tool if you use it right.
It
For
is.
upcoming artists and producers.
And you're right, because like, as you mentioned, you really can meet a lot of people on social media, and even people in industry nowadays because of social media, which is great. So thanks whoever created social media.
Right.
So let me ask, you have produced for different genres. I mean, I read the bio. So you produced for Ariana and Chris Brown placements, and just a host of others. Tori, and also Tamala Mann, and I know you did some stuff for Kirk Franklin, and
Absolutely.
just a host of other people. So you have your hands into different genres. What skill set? Because I tend to think there's a skill set that is needed for each genre. So what skill set? Could you explain to us what types of skill set, if there is any, that are needed for the different genres?
Yeah, I would say to be able to be, and that's been something that's been extremely key and instrumental in my success, my career, throughout the time that I've been doing this for 10 years. And I believe that it's been the fact that I am a true musician, and pretty much like growing up in the church, playing drums and being a drummer and playing piano and guitar, having an ear to be able to, hear the different sounds and genres of music. And it is truly a gift, that I would say, because I mean, I get that a lot. A lot of people are like, man, how are you able to go from making a hip hop track to turn around and making a full blown gospel worship, that's anointed. And it's definitely something that God has gifted me with, and just my ear as well. My ear to be able to, I guess, channel in and switch gears, into wear those different hats. But musicianship and my ability and skills to be able to play instruments absolutely is probably the most important thing about that part. To be different, to be versatile.
And what about the music, the women or the men that are musicians, and so they do play instruments, but let's say they're strictly gospel? Would you say all of them are able to switch over to do a pop song, or is it because certain type of chords that you play in gospel you can't really play in pop? Right. Correct me if I'm wrong. So you really can't play it in a pop music. So although you might be a musician, but you might not still have that skill set. Like I'm saying, for a gospel artist, a gospel musician to play, to create and produce a pop song or maybe a rapping song. I'm not sure. Right. So I guess there. I'm
sorry.
No, it's okay.
Well, I would say, and that's another thing. You're absolutely right. Like, I have come across a lot of people that, colleagues, good friends of mine, and they, they are phenomenal gospel musicians, and they produce gospel music, and they're awesome at it. But at the same time, they know to stay in their lane. They know not to try to switch it up or whatever. But for me, I think it's like it's more of having that ear for it. Because you can play, but you still got to have an ear for pop music. You still got to have an ear for hip hop. You still got to have an ear for R&B or whatever. Reggaeton or which it's just that I think I've always been, even as a kid, I've always been so open and diverse with the type of music that I listen to. Mama didn't play that though. She's like, if it ain't gospel, when I was little, right? Right. But, it's different now, but I still find myself sticking off and listening to Michael Jackson and different or even like the Backstreet Boys and stuff like that. Like I was always so intrigued by how the sound and the sonics of pop music and top 40 music was so different and cool to me. Like, I don't know, it just really did something to me. So I think I really my ear was so sharp even at a young age. I was like, I want to be able to mimic that, or I want to be able to, tap into that or replay that. And if I could hear it one time, I could sit down at a piano and play it.
Wow.
My ear is like, I say, definitely thank God for the type of ear that He gave me. So I think that helped me to be able to switch lanes like that and be successful within those different genres. Because a lot of people ask me that. So it's definitely got to be the ear.
Well, that's totally amazing. And to me, I think that's the difference of talent versus gift. Because I feel like gift is like an innate, that God really just placed that within you, and it's just a natural thing. But I don't want to say too much on that because I could be wrong, but I just feel like there's a difference between talent versus gift.
You're right.
So let me ask you, do you have a strong preference of a genre? Because I know you play so many. Do you have a strong preference of one or the other?
Um, I actually don't. I mean, of
Mm.
course, whatever I do, for Kingdom is always gonna be, that's my roots, forever. But me just being a true music lover and just the love for the craft of creating, beautiful music to me is like art, and it doesn't matter what genre as long as it comes out, incredible, and people are, it's an impact people, it's an impact on the people, and it changes their lives, in a positive way. And
Right.
that's what I'm all about at the end of the day. So,
That's right.
yeah.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. Absolutely. And I know you touched on it a little bit about having a good ear for music. But in addition to that, overall, what makes a music producer, because you're a producer, what makes a music producer great?
What makes a great music producer?
Mhm.
And this is some of my that's another big brother of mine that I've been up under for a while, Rodney Jerkins, Dark Child.
Yes.
I've
Mhm.
been up under him for a while, so shout out to him too. He always told me,
Mhm.
matter of fact, Jersey, yeah, he's from Jersey. But he told me when I started working with him back in 2013. Always told me, it's about to have a hit record and to make a great song. It's about the feeling of the song from the very beginning. Like you can have a great song with just a guitar and the lyrics, or just a piano on the lyrics. It doesn't have to be a full blown uh, composition or all this music and different. Now that's amazing too, but the core of it needs to be the message within the song, the feeling within the song. It needs to be grabbed immediately. And if you can strip all the instruments out of this music and out of this song, all the way down to just a piano and the vocals and the lyrics, and it still touches a person, then you got a hit. You got a great song.
Wow.
So it's all about the feeling of it, and also just consistency.
Mhm.
Consistency, what I would say to be a great music producer. You have to stay consistent. In this business we're in, things are gonna happen, good, bad, ugly. The ups and downs. I've had a
Yeah.
lot of losses, but I had a lot of wins. I've had more losses than I've had wins. But the thing is, now I'm
Mhm.
not gonna say losses. I'll say lessons. I had more lessons than I had wins, but my wins are so significant
Mhm.
that it outweighs the lessons that I had to learn. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So my wins were so good, so big that it's able to allow me to keep my passion and my drive and never lose sight or focus of what started, your passion for music. That's another thing I would say.
Mm.
You can easily get caught up in the politics. You can get caught up in the hype. Especially,
Mhm.
and I'm saying this from experience. Living
Right.
in Hollywood,
Mhm.
you get caught up in chasing the bag, chasing placements. For real. And I
Yeah.
see it every day. We see it on social media. We see it in the community, and we worry about status and different things like that. And there's nothing wrong with having things, but don't let them
Mhm.
hurt you. So if you once you get those things under your belt, stay grounded, stay humble, and
Mhm.
never forget where you come from. All those things play a part in being a great music producer because it's going to be a part of your character, and your music it comes out in your music. Who you
Mm.
are is going to come out in what you produce, and
That's
that's
good.
right.
That's
So
good. That's a good. You just dropped some great gems there. That's good.
yeah,
And I want people to apply that, even if you're not a producer. But what you just mentioned, that goes for anything. Being consistent. Being humble. Always have to chase after the bag.
yeah,
But definitely being consistent. So no
yeah.
matter what career you are in or whatever is going on in your life, those are some
Mhm.
key words, and
Yeah.
that's great. That's a good word. I really like that. And I know you touched on it a little bit because I wanted to ask what makes for a solid, a powerful, a good song. And I know you touched a little bit on it, but if you could elaborate a little bit more, that'd be great too.
Yeah, yeah. A hit, powerful song, like a great song. Like I said, it starts with the feeling of that song. It starts with connect. That song has to connect with people. You know what I'm saying? It has to connect with the listener. In whatever genre you may be producing or writing for, or you're being an artist, it has to connect with that that demographic, or even it's just anyone. You know, you don't want to make music that's just going to connect for one type of demographic. You want to make music that's going to connect with everyone. You know, even if they don't listen to gospel on a regular basis, you want that song to be so anointed or so powerful that it's going to still touch a non-believer, or you know, rather whatever genre you may listen. I mean, you know, you may be working on. So also, you know, I would say make sure you just really have to study your craft. I mean, study your craft, sharpen your craft, of course. But that's just due diligence. You know what I'm saying? That's just, you know, putting in those. I remember hearing Timbaland say, you got to put in them 10,000 hours. You know, for real. Like it's something about reps, you know, repetition.
Yeah.
It becomes, you know, allows you to get better, right? Like they say, practice makes perfect. But it doesn't make perfect, but it just makes you get better.
It makes you better.
So
absolutely.
That is so true. Yeah. So as long as you just keep working at it, keep making. For me, like my method at one time when I was in my 20s, I remember I was making like 8 to 10 beats a day.
Wow.
Just pushing them out. And I had no like, I remember my mom was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I have to do this. And nobody was pressuring me to do it. It's just something that I felt that I needed to do to push myself. And that's what allowed me to, my production skills and level went to another level because of me just continue to make more and more tracks. You know, I had over 5,000 tracks by the time I was 25 years old. Beats that I had just made from all different genres collectively. So me now about to be 37, I passed a long time ago. So I just say that, you know, making sure as a producer, as a writer, as an artist, making sure to have a hit record, you definitely want to connect with the consumer. You definitely want to connect with the people, with your song, with your lyrics, with the music itself, and allow it to all complement together. Nothing should be overpowering one another. The music shouldn't overpower the vocals. The vocals should overpower the music. You know, the message should be. It should all tie in together. And if you get all those things on one accord, then you should have a hit record.
Wow, that is phenomenal. And I want to put a little plug in right there. For those who do not know, I know some people do know because I've shared it with folks. But for those who don't know, and based on what you were just saying, Slikk, about, you know, great music as well as the lyrics and everything has to, you know, impact the person who's the listener who's hearing it. You know, definitely there should be a message and someone should connect and resonate with what they're listening to. I just wanted to let everyone know that Slikk Muzik produced my single that's out, Never Once Let Me Down. So, and coupled with, as he mentioned, you also have to have a great writer. So we have my great writer, Makiba Riddick Woods. So with the combination of them two, you know, and of course the vocals, as he mentioned, that has to match, everything has to fit together. I just want to say publicly, thank you.
Absolutely.
I put it on social media, but thank you so much because I totally love my song, the production to the writing. but this interview is not about Loretta, so let me get back on track.
It's your show, but you did it for now. I just want to say thank you for executing that record and taking it to where it needed to go. You did your thing on that record. It's a phenomenal record. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. So getting back to you, Slikk. So what is it like producing for all the phenomenal artists that you worked for? Because there has to be something special, you know, about it. Man, what was that like? What's that feeling like for you?
I remember earlier on, you know, like I said, I think the Ariana Grande was like the first. Well, I know for sure that was the first, you know, because that's what allowed me to, that's what I got my publishing deal and, you know, was able to, you know, take care of my family and take care of myself. And that's when I realized, you know, okay, this is like, it's starting to pay off, right? But just the experience of being in the studio from her and Babyface and Dark Child and Montel Jordan and now, you know, every session that I had, I remember I've always learned something from each artist and each session, and it was surreal at first, but now it's like confirmation of, you know, all the stuff that you know, the time I put in, the work I put in, when it seemed like it wasn't going to make any sense or it was going to go in vain. And I'm just so humbled and grateful when those sessions come, because it's like, yo, God, thank you, man, because it's like, everything I was doing it wasn't in vain. You know, it's like you make it make sense. So, you know, and also like I would say like the Tori Kelly session, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it was one of the most phenomenal sessions that I've ever had. Her vocals are so phenomenal. You know,
Amazing.
amazing. Like, I mean, flawless. I remember one
Yes.
session when we was working on the Hiding Place album. She was doing takes. I mean, the first take, she killed it, and we didn't even have to get another one. Like, you know, sometimes you have to go in and you have to record. You know, you may have to record the verse or the hook. You know, until you get it right.
Right.
And I've never been in a session with anybody, no one, not even Chris or Ariana, or no, like Tam or whoever. Like they all, you know, had to do it a few times to get, you know, get exactly how they may have wanted it. But with her, it was just like flawless. First time. I even Tank. When I up with Tank, man, his vocals are. See, I've had the pleasure to work with a lot of, you know, very extremely skillful and gifted vocalists, and that sharpened my. I said that sharpened my keyboard, my piano skills as well. Like, because you know, I mean, we just in there. I'm sitting at the piano and we're just flowing, you know. Just just playing chords and keys, and they just.
Oh, that sounds like a fun session to be in.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that one day.
Yes.
So, it's just, I mean, I love it because you develop a relationship, you know, with artists and with these people every session. It's not just business, you know. Some sessions are just business, but I'm at a point in my career where I like for my relationships with the artists to be, you know, personal. You know what I'm saying? We're connected with this record. We're joint with this music that we're creating right now. So it's more than just making a beat and you writing a song and you recording it, you know, and putting it out, you know. So I would say all these sessions that I've had with these artists have definitely changed my life for the better and made me a better person. You know, some sessions, everybody wasn't so pleasant, you know. Some people were very.
That's okay because you learn, you know, like you said, everything is a lesson learned from there too. You know,
you learn how to handle yourself and how to treat them accordingly. You know, it's not that you don't work with them. You just know that, oh, okay, well, this right here, you know, we're going to keep it strictly business. you know when and when not to, you know, how to handle it based on the artist and how to. But for the most part, I've had better experiences with celebrity artists in studios than negative. So I'm thankful for that. You know.
Yeah. You know, but that's life. That's life. You know, you go through the good and not so good. You know, but it all helps you to become a better person.
Absolutely.
Now you know how to deal with people on different levels.
Right.
So that's good. So, wow, this is beautiful. I'm really enjoying hearing you, listening to you, and having this conversation with you. I want to shift the conversation now, and I want to talk about when death was at your door. And so before we talk about that, I want to show a video snippet of that.
Okay.
Coma, he went through being paralyzed. He went through where he died 3 times while he was on life support.
I'm about to be 100% again. Be awesome. I'm about to save my life.
I went into surgery and I was supposed to be in and out. And that wasn't the case. The surgery wasn't a success.
Somehow she got my number. She called me to let me know that Slikk was on life support, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" I just talked to Slikk a week ago, and we were just talking about music.
Remember the kid that I kept telling you about? Super dope kid that did the song on my album. It's just like probably the best kid in the world. And she's like, yeah, I remember you talking about it. I remember. I said, he's on life support right now. I said, he doesn't deserve that.
I had been in a coma for 33 days, and I was paralyzed at the same time. Within a week's time, right before I woke up, it was an absolute miracle that took place.
They say you only live once. Who are they? Why they say that? The afterlife is a real flick. Give me a little more time in paradise.
One more time in paradise. Oh, give me one more reason to find the love. Give me one more heart in paradise. Oh, give me one more heart in paradise. Whoa.
Wow. So that was really sad and pretty touching, I must say. So Slikk, I know you went into the hospital just for a simple surgery, but it went left. Something went wrong.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened and what were your thoughts after you became aware of what happened? Walk us through that time in your life.
Okay. So this was in 2016. I just, my sister had just graduated from college, and I came back home to Dallas. I was still living in LA, and I just came back home to Dallas for a while to move her back in with my mom, and just kind of reunite with the fam and kick it for a little bit, take a little time off, to just do the family thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember having these issues like stomach pain and stuff. And I went to my family physician, just my regular doctor, and he was like, "Okay, you have gallstones." And I'm like, "Oh, how did I get that?" So it was like, you've been. I was exhausted. Basically, I was working like working myself like crazy, like a machine, pretty much, just chasing that dream, chasing that bag, right? Like we were saying earlier. And this, that's the flip side of it, right? Like there's a successful side, but then there's also a side where you can get caught up or get lost in chasing the dream and not taking care of yourself and neglecting your health, neglecting your body. And that's kind of what happened. Like I was just going way too hard without, getting enough sleep and just running off of like 3 and 4 hours of sleep a night. And some days I stayed up multiple days without getting any sleep.
Wow.
Because I would just be in studios all night, and then right back in the morning I would be sleeping in studios. Like I was so determined to be like the greatest producer of all time. And not saying that what's for you is going to be for you. So you don't have to literally kill yourself almost to just get to that point. So long story short, that's what caused the gallstones to form, just from exhaustion and not just overwhelming my body, and my body just basically just like, okay, this is enough. And from that point they were like, we just have to do a little day surgery, set up a day surgery at a hospital in Dallas to have them removed, and it shouldn't be no more than about a 45-minute procedure. Right in, right out. You go back, fly back out to LA or whatever you got to do in the next couple of days. I'm like, okay, cool. So that was supposed to be scheduled to happen, but however, that did not go according to plan. As of May 12th, 2016, me and my sister I went to lunch. I'm sorry, I took her to lunch today, and I guess whatever I ate did not agree with those gallstones. And, I was in severe pain. So her and my sister ended up having to go to a different, they went to a meeting or somewhere they left anyway. So I was there at home by myself, and I was in so much pain. I just drove myself to the nearest ER. When I get to the ER, they rushed me back because the pain was so severe. I could barely walk. And they had to do an emergency surgery. So this was not the surgery that was scheduled. This was just the emergency surgery because
right.
So, they get me back there to do whatever they needed to do. And all I remember was, all the doctors and stuff coming in and, started intubating me or whatever and putting, for a surgery, prepping me. And the two went down too far. The anesthesiologist put the two too far down my throat, and just was careless. And because of that, absolutely, because of that, it punctured, severely punctured both of my lungs and my
Wow.
chest. Yeah, and I didn't know it at the time,
Right, right.
and as I was out, but as soon as I woke up, as
Mhm.
a matter
Mhm.
of fact, the pain was so severe
Mm.
that it woke me up from the anesthesia.
Oh.
Yeah,
Mm.
like toward the end of them finishing the procedure. So it wasn't the actual gallbladder removal procedure itself. It was the
Mm.
anesthesiologist that when they was intubating me, they put the breathing tube too far. They have to give you just extra oxygen instead of
Yeah, yeah.
they used the tube. But they went down too deep in my throat, and it ended up puncturing my lungs, which caused me to
Mm.
start bleeding internally um, immediately. So when I woke up, I woke up strangling. I couldn't breathe much.
Wow.
It was hard for me. Yeah, my chest was tight, and I'm
Mm.
thinking this was just from the procedure. I'm thinking this is just from the gallbladder procedure, but it's not adding up because it's not in the same area. So when they wheeled me back to recovery, immediately I'm like coughing up blood, and I'm not to
Mm.
be vulgar or anything, coughing up all this blood and fluid, and my mom is there, my sister's there, and they're furious because they're trying to figure out why is he coughing up blood? Why is he doing that? He shouldn't be doing that. So they were making excuses and saying I had double pneumonia, this and that, which was absolutely not the case. And
Mm.
later on, we found out. We knew it was something else going on because I couldn't catch my breath. I couldn't breathe, and they had to ventilate me, and I was literally just that quick. I was dying. Like I went from being a healthy young man,
Whoa.
30 years old, and to just have my gallbladder removed, and then yeah, it's like that. I couldn't breathe all of a sudden, and I'm coughing up, it's blood, I'm bleeding internally, and just trying to figure out what's going on and why I can't catch my breath. And I'm literally, I'm huffing and puffing exhausted just to try to
Mm.
catch my breath. So they had to put me on a ventilator, very similar to how COVID patients were during the
Mhm.
pandemic.
Mhm. Mhm.
And man, worst. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Worst feeling in the world. Basically suffocating and dying slowly.
Oh my God.
Um,
Mm.
by that night, I couldn't go to sleep at all because even on the ventilator, it still wasn't working
Mm.
because I had me on the because I'm still my lungs are constantly filling with filling up because they're
Yeah.
punctured, they're injured.
Mhm.
But nobody's saying that, but I'm feeling this. Nobody's trying to do anything about it. They just have me on this breathing machine, and it's like that's only doing so much. Pushing oxygen into me is not gonna stop me from. The only way I was able to get some relief was by continuing to cough it up
Mm.
out so that I could try to make room to breathe. But it was so bad, it was terrible, and I end up they induced me into a coma around 4 or 5 a.m. Just like that. And the moment they induced me into that coma, my mom said I literally flatlined.
Mm.
It's not even an hour within. And
Wow.
I know in the video she said 3 times. That was before we got back to the medical records when we
Mhm.
did the video, but it actually ended up being confirmed that it was 5 times on the medical records. So um, from that point on, we didn't, my family. Shout out to my mom, man. My mom is
Mhm.
a praying woman. She's a prayer warrior. I'm so thankful for my mother and my
Yeah.
sister who they were by my side the entire time. They were my voice. They didn't allow the doctors to convince them to pull the plug because they wanted to pull the plug on me.
Oh my
They wanted to
goodness.
pull the plug on me like shoot every couple days. And I went on to be in that coma for 33 days, for over a month,
Mm.
33 days to be exact, and flatline a total number of 5 times. You know, and each time, I think the longest time they said I was out or dead, my heart wasn't beating, about 5 minutes. Um, so yeah,
Mm.
complete walking miracle. Yeah.
Wow. That's such a really tragic, sad situation
Yeah.
that you went through. It's actually heartbreaking, just to hear the story. That you went through a lot. Like, wow.
It's
And
in
it's, mhm.
it was just so. I'm sorry. I mean,
No, that's okay. You go ahead.
it was so like all of a sudden, like I mean, things were. It's like I was, climbing up that mountain, of
Mm,
success, and everything seemed to be going right in my life, and
mhm,
I was on my way up. I'm working with all these people. I'm getting
mhm,
recognition that I finally deserve to get after years of putting in work and
mhm,
for my music and yeah. I mean, all of a sudden it's like the rug was snatched off from under my feet, and I just went from being Hollywood, these celebrities and getting these records and number one songs to
mhm,
all of a sudden ending up on my deathbed. At
mhm,
30 years old, I'm like, how did I get here? I'm literally looking death in the face, and I'm fighting. I'm like, in my mind, before I went into the coma, I'm like,
mhm.
God, I don't want to die. I can't believe this is going to be the way I'm going out. I don't
Yeah.
think that I get to this place. And
Mm,
it's like nobody could do anything. Even my
mm,
mom, she could pray, but nobody could, fix my situation at the time. I just had to stand on faith. Just
mhm.
God, that's the only person I could lean to.
Exactly, exactly. And you just mentioned you had to stand on faith.
Yeah.
How has this experience increased your faith, your trust, and your belief in God?
Man, it's really been it changed everything. My entire perspective, my relationship with God is, on a whole different level after this.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
my salvation, just everything. Like it's almost like I had this experience for myself, and like I'm not concerned about what anyone else thinks about me in
Hmm.
that regard when it comes to my relationship with God, because He allowed me to, and I'm really thankful. I'm very blessed and humbled for Him to allow me to go through this experience and to actually walk with Him, and like for me to I had no choice but to put my faith in Him and to trust Him, because I was a dead man. Like
Hmm.
I literally remember everything that I saw the times I died. Like I actually was in heaven for a
Wow.
period of time. Yeah, I was in purgatory. I was, it was crazy. I went through so many different spiritual realms and dimensions
Hmm.
that I saw it all. I was in the line of judgment. I remember I couldn't get out of it. I remember, being in that line. I talked to my pastor that passed away in 1999. I saw him in heaven. He was a young man. He passed
Hmm.
away. He was like in his 70s or almost 80. He
Hmm.
was in a wheelchair because his legs were amputated because he was diabetic. I seen
Hmm.
him in heaven. He was a younger man, like he was in his probably 30s. Young, full body, healthy, vibrant, you know, young man. And I knew it was him. And he came,
Hmm.
encouraged me, said he was sent to encourage me, to tell me to keep fighting, that God was going to use me as a miracle to come back and to share, this experience, this testimony. So
Hmm. Right. And this is actually a beautiful testimony too, because it also shows the work of God, you know,
absolutely.
what he can do for you and what he can do for anyone else. And
Absolutely.
and he has his reasons why he allows certain things to happen, right, to you and to everyone else. But as you mentioned earlier, it's like when God has something for you, there's a purpose. When your life is destined to do something,
Mhm.
God is going to allow you to fulfill that, to manifest it as it has been for you, all the things that you have accomplished. And but also to just keep everyone remembering that you can't do everything without God. Like, you have to lean on God. Like, don't forget me.
Right, right.
I'll take you here. I'll take you to this level, to a high level, and
Yeah.
I'll give you all these great accolades and all these great accomplishments. But don't forget about me as well. So
That's it.
your experiences, definitely your testimony, I know, has helped others. I mean, people that are not even music oriented, just just average regular people,
Yeah.
To just keep, your faith and have trust in God and believe in God. And just this whole experience, I mean, you could have, God could have just allowed you to just stay flatline and never brought you back up. But he did, you were risen, so that's, it's a beautiful story. And I'm thankful because you're here today to share this with everyone. And I hope someone is encouraged and inspired and, uplifted by your story.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And we just finished, the book. It'll definitely, be coming in the fall.
Yes.
This fall. And right now we're just getting everything, all the ducks in a row. And very soon I'll be posting all the details and everything, the particulars on my Instagram, on my social media platforms.
Okay, there you go. Slikk, if anyone wants to get in contact with you, how could they reach out to you?
You can find me on my social media page. My Instagram would be Slikk Muzik, and that's spelled SLIKK MUZIK. Again, that's SLIKK MUZIK. And that's pretty much across the board. Same for Facebook, Twitter as well. Let me see. Oh, and also my website is on my Instagram and my Facebook. So my personal website as well. It'll be, the link will be attached to there.
Good. And I'm happy to hear that you having your book is going to be coming out soon. Tell us the name of your book.
The name of my book is actually 33 Days. What made me decide that title was 33 Days, A True Miracle Story. And there it is right there. What made me decide that, I actually decided to use a real photo, of me while I was in the coma. I was okay with that. My graphic designer asked if it was, if I was okay with that, and I said absolutely. I want to be transparent. I want the people to see, this miracle. Like, I'm that guy. That's me.
Exactly.
I want people. I'm a realist. I like to be transparent and raw with it. And so I decided to name the book 33 Days, and the significance of that is that I was actually in the coma for 33 days, and I woke up on the 33rd day, which is a very unique number as well. Jesus Christ 33, and when he went on, so it's just, I'm just thankful for it, and I know that this is all for a purpose. I know it's all for reasons why I was, God allowed me to come back. And I did, I promised him that I would, share my testimony and do everything in my power to, I made that vow to him. Like, if he let me live, if he gave me another opportunity, another chance to live, I promise to come back and share my story with the world to help change lives. And that's
Right. And it's a great story. And as you mentioned the word miracle, you are a miracle. And thank God for allowing you to be with us.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Slikk, I have just my last question I want to ask you. And there are many gifted and talented people who haven't fulfilled their dreams, maybe because of being fearful, or maybe they overthinking it or too cautious. What word of encouragement would you give to that person?
What I would say is, and those things are absolutely normal. I mean, I've dealt with that and still deal with it to this day. But you just have to truly believe in yourself. That's where it starts. You gotta believe in yourself. And some people call me crazy when I stepped out on faith and moved to LA and left my job. I mean, I know it's not, the average person wouldn't just do that, especially if you got a good job and you've been in a situation, right, with good benefits. But it's definitely a faith walk. Like I said, it's something that you definitely have to believe in yourself, and preparation and dedication is definitely necessary. It's definitely necessary to make sure that you prepare yourself as much as possible. Stay dedicated to what you're doing. Put those hours in, put that work in before you decide to start that business. Or do your research. You got to put in that time to, really know whatever field you're going in or whatever you're looking to do or conquer, whether it's music, a business, a brand, whatever you're trying to launch.
Right.
just make sure you understand it and do your research and, get a mentor, even glean from people that's been doing it for years and successful at it, be their intern, whatever you got to do, to really just, and be a sponge, soak up all the knowledge you can, soak up all the knowledge from the goats and the people that are successful in that. So with all of that, and then preparing yourself, and the nerves are still going to be there. You're still going to have, anxiety and all that other stuff. At the same time, at least the last piece of that is going to be the faith. And that's when you're just going to have to step out and let it happen. You say, hey, at least I tried. If it don't work, then I have a plan B. We can go back to that, or, go back to where I was at before. But if you don't ever step out on faith, you'll never know.
Right. Wow, this is wonderful. I'm so excited that you joined the conversation this evening. It was great having you here. I've taken a lot out of this conversation, and I'm sure our viewers the same. Thank you, Slikk, for joining us. I know you have a busy schedule, and I appreciate you. And may God continue to bless you in all your endeavors. I can't wait to read the new book. And everyone, you have to get the book, 33 Days. It's going to be phenomenal. I already know it's going to be phenomenal, and I really can't wait to read it. So continue again to just follow, God's lead. Let him lead and guide you in your life and everything that you do, you and your family. Have a blessed evening, and God bless you. And again, thank you so much for accepting my offer to being here this evening. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. So everyone, wow. I mean, that was a lot, and I'm pretty, overwhelmed right now. I'm trying to get myself back together, listening to Slikk's story, because that could be anyone, but as he mentioned, there were some key things that he said, so many good things. He dropped so many good gems, but there isn't anything that you cannot do with the help of God. Keep the faith, keep trusting God, keep believing in God, and believe in yourself as well. You have to believe in yourself and take that leap of faith. So whatever it is that you want to do, know that with God's help, it is possible. With God, all things are possible. Don't be afraid. Don't overthink things. And when you do find your niche or your passion, whatever it is that you want to do or want to accomplish, be consistent, be humble, be patient, work hard, practice, put in the time, everything that you need, focus, prioritize, because sometimes you can get distracted, a lot of other outside noises that can get in your way. Get rid of the noises and just know that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Believe that and take that in your spirit. So thank you so much for joining the Loretta Merritt Show. I'm glad that you were here with me this evening. And our next show will be held in September, the third Sunday, where our guest will be Joel Lamar from Adventist Musician Network. So please tune in because we're going to have another great conversation. Thank you again. Have a good evening and enjoy and have a blessed new week that's coming up. And remember, keep God in front of you and back of you and side of you, all around you. Lean onto God. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great evening.